Okay, so I'm working on the DCCD controller. Up in here is a bolt. Way up in there. It is a booger to get to. I can't even find the top of it, the head of it. Anyway, it's way up in there behind that conduit type thing. And I couldn't get a ratchet with an extension in this area to get it out. So I'm gonna take more stuff off to get to it. Starting with this. So you pull this weather stripping back, you stick this in there. I already started it, so it's a little further out. And you just pop that off. Then you take a screwdriver and you undo this screw. Loosen this screw up. Once you do that, you can pull this whole end piece off here. It's got a bunch of plugs plugged into those switches and stuff. And working on this here. I still can't figure out. I got a bunch of accessories for this GoPro, and it's got a tripod thing, but there's no way to mount it onto the camera. I guess I need another part to mount to the tripod, and then I can mount it to the camera. I don't know. But this thing, you just pull it out like that. There it goes. I'm probably not going to unplug everything. I'm just going to figure out how to get this airbag out, so I can get it the heck out of my way to get up in there. So yeah, that space there's just not enough for me to get in there with the tool. You can kind of see the head of the bolt in there. It's one of the 4 bolts that holds the head unit in. So I got to do one on that side, one on the other side, and 2 on top after I get the AC vents out. On the other side, you remove the glove compartment door, and that's pretty easy. I'll show you that in case you don't know how to do it. I'll keep on going here. My camera's about to die, so I'm going to have to start a new video in a bit. It's for the airbag assembly to drop down and get out of your way. There's that nut. And that nut on top. Loosen those and it'll drop right down. It's not connected to anything on the sides. So I was hoping not to have to take all this stuff off. It's not that bad. But, you know, as little that I can do as possible is kind of nice, you know. So there's that. Now I can get up in there. Probably can show you the bolt head now. You can see it up in there now. Little 10mm bolt head. So I think I can get up in there now. I already kind of loosened it a little. You'll see the darn bolt once you look in there. You have to kind of look past all that. You should be able to see it. I can't see it on this little tiny screen. There it is. You can see it now. Yep. All right. So you see it. Now you know where I'm putting the darn extension. Let's get this out of here with the magnet. Oh yeah. Beautiful. All right. So, okay, 2 nuts for the airbag that's dangling, and got that screw out. Now got to go over to the dash, or sorry, well, kind of the dash, the glove compartment. So in here you have this little piece. It just pops right off. I can't do it one-handed. Yeah, I can. Pops right off, and that's like a, what do you call those? They like hold your hood up to. I can't think today at all. And then when you get that out, you push in on each side of on the end of the glove compartment door. I wish I could find a fitting with all the stuff my wife got me with this camera that mounts it to the tripod, or something I can clamp it so I can do two-handed work for once on these videos. Anyway, I'm gonna push in on this end and on this end, and then it'll come out. I'll push in. So that's how you do it. 1 second. I'll put my camera right here. All right, push in really hard. There it goes. Ta-da. Oh, come on. There. Good. Got her out. Set it right there for now. So then, when you get in there, man, I got to get that light from over there. I'm so excited to finally be doing something on my car. Number one, I have a little time finally. I'm off work for a bit, and number two, it's beautiful weather and I'm not freezing my you-know-what off. Same concept as the other side. There's a screw down in there, or a bolt. Somewhere up in there, there's a, I might be able to see it later on this recording. I can't see it right now. Maybe if I stick my whole head up in there. So it is way in there. I wasn't looking deep in there enough. Way in there. Think you can see it. Way in there. Yeah, it's way, just, you have to stick your head all the way up in the glove compartment. And then we'll work on getting this assembly out, so then I can undo the 2 bolts up top there, pull that whole thing out, unplug everything, then I'll have access to down here in order to put the DCCD box in, which is right there. Okay, so I'm on that bolt now. This kind of stuff didn't used to hurt my back so much, or at all. Now it kills me. Oh, that's what I didn't want to have happen. Just drop the dang bolt down in there. Oh, shoot. Well, hopefully I can find it. I thought I had it with the magnet, but I did not. I can take this off. It's pretty easy. There's a pop push clip over here. Take this one screw off right here, and then take that screw off right down there, and then that thing pops right off. Maybe I can find it. Maybe I can find it by looking down in here. Okay, so I got this pried up. You can see I can stick that down in there, and it looked pretty flimsy, and I thought it was going to break, and it makes all kinds of fun cracking sounds. It's amazing how much faster things go when you have 2 hands to work with. There it goes. So You have some plugs back in there. Got to unplug. And what I did was once I pried it from the top, I stuck the pry tool over here and pulled with my one hand and pried with the other, and it went pop. And then on that side, same thing, pulled here while prying on the side and pop, and then now it just sort of popped right out. So there we go. Gray plug goes on the bottom, white plug goes on the top. White on top, gray on bottom. Got those. Then you got that bolt and that bolt, and then you can slide this whole thing out. You know, I'm gonna replace this with a different head unit anyway, so might as well get that soon here before I put it back together. And by the way, if you haven't dropped a bolt or a tool or a screw into the abyss, you haven't worked on cars long enough. Took a few minutes. Finally got it unplugged. There's everything. I think I'll pretty much be able to figure out how they plug back in. I'm going to reinstall a different, I'm going to install a different unit probably anyway. I'll figure it out when the time comes. And let's see if I can find that bolt down in there. Alright, so I poked a coat hanger through the front of the car where that rubber seal grommet is, and the coat hanger came down here. So now I can grab the wires from the DCCD box that need to go up to the front of the car. Of course, I'll show those wires. So there's the coat hanger coming down. It comes down right about in the middle of that whole area there. And I poked the area that I poked is, and I can't get out of here with all this stuff dangling down. All right, I poked it right through here. Had to make a little tiny slit, so you know, the smaller the slit the better in my opinion, so you know, weather elements have a less chance of getting in there. But there you go. All right, so got the DCCD pretty much installed. The only thing I got to do is plug in the wires that go into the engine bay into the DCCD plug on the transmission. I pinned those into the plug and had that little adapter. I'll show you that in a minute. So the gray wires coming out of the DCCD box, one of them is that gray wire right there that goes to that balance gyro thing that you mount with the arrow facing forward. I mounted it on the emergency brake bracket. That's one place that they suggest. You don't want to tighten that bolt down too hard because it can crack that plastic ring that's on there. You can see that has a ring, and there's another ring up there. That, well, actually it's on the right side. So that was the best way to mount it without it interfering with anything else. The other wire, gray wire that comes out of the DCCD, is this wire on the side. I kept it wound up in here, and I kept it right here because in the center console, the SI drive that I'm using, it has a pretty long harness coming out of it that goes this way, and I'll plug it into here and it'll be good to go before I install the center console. And the DCCD also has another gray coated wire, that this right here down there, and what that is for the LED indicator, because I got the Spiider. So with that, this needs to plug in, and I still have to figure out how to mount. I'm going to mount the LED indicator over here. I'm probably going to do something nice like a custom piece because I'm just picky like that. So I have it running through here, and it's going to plug into the LED indicator right through there. It's a surprisingly large plug for that little LED indicator, but that's the one. Of course, I'm going to tie off the gray wire underneath up in here behind the like the airbag sensor or whatever. So yeah, there's a bunch of multicolored wires, okay, like you can see it all right in there, and it goes to this plug. And it's so hard to get the hands in here, especially my hands are kind of big. There's a plug right there. Wires go into that from the box, and then a black like nylon coated wire comes out of that with 3 loose wires and a blue wire, and I'll show you those under the hood. Those I ran into the engine bay, and I'll show you what they are and stuff like that. And then in my previous video, or however many videos back, of course you're only going to see one video anyway, the coat hanger I poked through came down like right in the middle of that floor space there. That's how I pulled those wires through the rubber grommet, like up in here. You can't see it, you can only see it really in the engine bay. So the gray wire, the gray like coated with that gray stuff, that gray plastic, those wires, I just showed you all those. Again, on the other side of that multicolored wire plug with all these multicolors in here, they go to that plug that's way in there. I'll show you here in a second. You can kind of see it. Anyway, and then that's what has wires going to the engine bay. And this brown wire, okay, that brown wire, you plug it in to the e-brake plug, or like a spade switch way in there, okay. And then there's a jumper you plug into the original, into that right there. You can see it plugged in, and then that spade coming off of the plastic piece that's plugged into plugs into the e-brake. It's self-explanatory when you see it. And then there's a ground wire. It's a green wire. You probably can't see it in here anymore. You can back there, actually. There's a green wire hiding way back in there. See that green wire going across where it says iWIRE on the box. I grounded it in here to the side where there was an existing ground. I had to take this panel off right here. I pulled that off, and then it exposed some metal with a ground in there, and I took a little sander cylinder on my Dremel and ground off the paint a little just to be sure, and then I put grounded that behind those existing grounds. And I mounted the box. You can see right there's a little two-sided tape. It was really a pain in the butt install, you guys. Not as easy as I thought it would be, but I got her done. And of course I got my purple wire from, this is not having to do with the DCCD, but that plugs into the seat heaters for the STI. That purple wire, this was the hardest part of the whole thing, really. There's that little plug right there that comes out, and that plugs into the little cubbyhole light. There's a purple wire and a black with white stripe, and there's no room to get anything in there, but I somehow did it. I just butt connectored it with a heat shrink butt connector, and then I tied off the wire on 2 ends to keep it sturdy so it won't ever come out. It was in there solid, but I like to zip tie it just to keep it sturdy and good. So connected the purple to the purple, and then ran the original purple to purple to the plug. So then now I'll have lit seat heater switches. Yeah. So let's go show you outside the car in the engine bay, and then I'll be done with this video. The whole DCCD install. Anyway, you can see I just zip tied the wires secure. There's that yellow wire running all the way across in there that comes up into there. Yellow bundle of wires, just like on this side. I zip tied all the wires along here nice and secure. You can see one in there, and just all along here. And then there's like a clip thing in there that all the wires are running through as well, that just kind of keep them together. And yeah, good. So I'm working on organizing my garage a little. It's better than it was. I can actually like walk over here now without stepping on tools. You can see I pulled the nylon coated, like the nylon sleeved wires. There's 3 wires in there, and the blue wire. I'll connect that blue wire to the blue wire on the drive-by wire, or you can call it the throttle position sensor if you want. This one, it had a white, black, and red wire. Just look at your little adapter here, because one of them goes to the harness and one of them goes to the DCCD plug right there on the transmission. I believe, yeah, that one there goes to the DCCD plug. This one's going to go to your original WRX harness, and I had to just pin those. I just pushed them in through that weather thing, the weather protector, pushed them in, and they snapped in place in that plug, and then I just plugged it in, and that's it. So yeah, that's the DCCD, guys, and you know, I can push that wire back in there more if I want to tie it off under the dash, or I'll probably do that to have it look cleaner and not have like a bundled up wire in under the hood here. So there you go, and hope this video was helpful. One thing I didn't go over in this little bag in my last video, probably for you guys like 20 seconds ago or something, in here was this little orange piece. You probably saw it. You put that orange piece in this plug that's attached to the nylon sleeved red, black, and white wires. Put that in there because it locates the pins and keeps them secure in there. If that's not in there, they're just sort of hanging in there, kinda. And that way, when you plug this thing in there, those pins in there, they match up with it better. They're way in there. You can, you can see them. Anyway, when that plugs in, it's just more secure, and that's what you want. So I forgot that in my other video there, and I just wanted to show you. Got everything buttoned up pretty much. I'm so happy to have my STI center console in there. I got my SI drive switch in there, and for the DCCD Spiider, this knob is not used in the WRX. It's only used for the STI. It's like hooked to some kind of a readout on the dash gauges, okay? But these switches will be used. I'm not exactly sure yet how everything works. I know there's an auto and a manual switch right here, and then this, you go down or up. You can change the torque bias that way. So this switch will not be, this knob will not be used with the DCCD Spiider in the WRX. Very excited to get one other little thing done. Of course, under the dash, or under the glove compartment, I still have to tie off the excess wire that I just showed you guys under the hood. I'm going to tie that off probably up in here. There's a nice hole in here. It's dark, I'm sorry, but there's a hole here. I'll tie it up in there to some wire looms that are in there, and then you can see my LED indicator switch hanging down, or plug hanging down, and that will be when I finally figure out a way to mount the LED bezel onto the factory plastic piece over there way on the left. That'll be plugged in, and then underneath where the knees go, I'll tie up that excess wire up there, and that'll be it. And I'm getting a new, I'm probably going to get a Kenwood to go in place of the factory head unit, and I should have fun installing all those plugs again. Anyway, hope this video helped you guys, and yeah, it's a beautiful night here in Wyoming, and love it.